fails those they are elected to lead. They seem to forget that they're elected to lead and protect the citizens of this country. And the huge opportunities there are for Britain to prosper and promote within the Commonwealth. And, you know, we're supposed to have, as a Prime Minister, a Conservative. And, you know, I believed he was until he went over and visited President Obama. And he had the cheek to say that in World War II, Britain was a junior power. How dare he say such a thing as that? Particularly to those of us, not many around, who were in the war and know what happened. If Britain hadn't stood fast and confronted Hitler, America wouldn't have had the chance to come over here and give a bit of help. But unfortunately, Mr. Cameron hasn't in his history. And then he went to India and said that Britain should stand humble before India. How on earth could he say a thing like that? How could a Prime Minister say that his country should stand humble before anyone? And after all, I mean, India is a great country, don't make any mistake about that. But they were helped. I mean, we did some bad things in industry, bad things in India. But the fact of the matter is that we gave them an administration which has enabled them to build a democratic country, which of course is doing extremely well in many respects at the present time. I think I had to say that because I'm so angry, still so angry about it, because we are a great country, and I only hope that we can continue to be so. So we're not going to be led out of the EU by our pathetic leaders. People say to me, the House of Lords is our hope. Don't you believe it? Don't you believe it? For 3 months we've been discussing a sort of good bill that was brought forward by the government, the European Union bill, which will ensure that there is referendums before any transfer of sovereignty. The House of Lords, led by diplomats, a couple of diplomats, drove a coach and horses through that bill. A coach and horses. And threw out all except 3 of the safeguards that were in that bill. So don't put your trust in the House of Lords. I mean, it's quite true that the House of Commons reversed it, and the House of Lords, by not too bad majorities, agreed with the House of Commons. But the House of Lords is not going to lead us out of the EU. The real hope must be that the people themselves, led by organisations like the Freedom Association, their Better Off campaign, and I do congratulate the Freedom Association on that campaign. And it's going very, very well indeed. And we have a Better Off Out organisation within Parliament. And that wouldn't have come about except for the pressure and the leadership of the Freedom Association. Other campaigns as well, the referendum campaign for an inner-right referendum, and we must demand that we regain our freedom. But we can only do it if we can mobilise all sections of the population. You can't just say and leave it to conservatives we have to mobilise the whole of the population, all sections of society. There are growing numbers of Labour MPs who are beginning to understand that they're losing their country and that they won't be able to put forward their own policies. Even Lib Dems, a few of them, they're coming over. But they must be helped and mobilised. Businesses, large and small, must be recruited to the cause, as must employees individually and through their trade unions. The trade unions are very important. Don't make any mistake about that. They've only got 6 million members now, as opposed to 14 million when I first joined the Labour Party in 1949. But nevertheless, they're still important. And they have to be weaned from the way they were misled by Jacques Delors when he addressed the TUC and said that Europe was the best thing since sliced bread. And of course, we have to tell them that the European Union is bad for their members, and they should be looking after their members. They should be doing that instead of sucking up to the Brussels dictatorship, as unfortunately they do. And of course, pressure, and this is where you all come in, pressure can be put on ministers and members of parliament through the press, online, and by visiting their constituency surgeries, sending deputations to them, and making sure that they know, as 50% of the people know, that the best thing for this country is to get out of the EU. So that we can once again rule ourselves through our parliament, through our government, through our institutions, which we built up over hundreds of years, and be free to make our own decisions and play our part, which can be a big one in the wide, wide world. Thank you.